Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dadsigner podcast. I'm Michael Smith, your host, and today I am joined by Jimmy Bryant. Hey, Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking with you.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about where you're from, a bit about your business, and some about your family?
I currently live in Colorado. Technically, I am from South Dakota, I guess. My business is Atomic Child. It's a brand. It's all my designs, outdoor brand. And then as far as my family, it's me, my wife, and my daughter. And started a family a little later in life, which kind of happy I did that because I got to be an idiot for a long time. And then, now I get to be a responsible adult.
What has that transition been like?
It was good, I mean, you have kids, so you understand like life is, and it's just like, I know people that don't have kids and don't like hearing this, but like before you have a kid, like your life is so different and what you think it's about and like free time and just even what the word love means. It's just like, it's such a life changing thing for the better, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And um, did you always want kids, or did that change over time?
No, I was definitely like both me and my wife were, for I mean, we didn't have a kid till we were in our 40s. So we were definitely like, nah, we don't want kids. But it's also, as you know, having two kids, like it's expensive. Um, and I didn't really get any sort of like quote unquote life changing money until I started my own business. So that kind of helped make that decision as well, because pretty much all of my life I lived paycheck to paycheck or, under paycheck to paycheck. So that made a
Yeah,
big difference too about starting a family and feeling responsible, like I was responsible enough to start a family.
yeah, for sure. And as far as the Atomic Child business that you now run, how long has that been in existence for?
So it's gone through some different iterations, but I mean, I started it when I was in, I think, right after college. So the name Atomic Child I've been using probably since 2005 ish. But as far as like this version of what I'm doing, probably 2015, but like officially 2018. But I've been using this name for a long, long time. I created it in college. It's definitely not something I thought I would be using 26 years later. But yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, and it was 2018-ish when you went full-time into it?
No, that was just when I did all the paperwork and got
Got it.
legal. And no, I think
Yeah,
it was like
yeah,
2016. I probably started doing this version of it part time, and 17 was probably full time.
yeah, nice. And for those folks that don't know the Atomic Child brand, what's your elevator pitch of what it's about?
So basically, my little single line that I always say is it's artist owned, nature inspired gear, souvenirs, gifts. But yeah, I mean, it's all my artwork, all my just going outside and enjoying the outdoors. I grew up on a farm, moved to Colorado, lived in California for a little bit. So, and then I just started making my own products and selling them myself. It's all me. I'm the only designer. I'm the only person who creates the products. Um, so yeah, that's it. Outdoor brand created by me.
Nice, nice. And these products, I mean, the list, this is not an exhaustive list, but hats, socks, blankets, sleeping bags, bags, Nalgene you've worked with, and the list goes on. So like all sorts of outdoor apparel and accessories.
But yeah, I mean, it goes from stickers, which is pretty much what we're really known for, because we've, over the decade that I've been doing this, I've sold millions of those things. So that's probably the biggest thing I'm known for. But I have a full range, stickers all the way up to bags, apparel, hats, everything. So it's all
Nice.
custom for us. But yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous the amount of SKUs that I have. Gets out of hand
Yeah.
because making stuff
And
is fun.
yeah, and how frequently are you like launching a new product?
Oh man, stickers all the time. Larger items It's hard to tell. It just kind of depends on cash flow and everything. I really should get into a system where I'm like every so, but like I just kind of make things and drop them. Every year I'm dropping probably 10 to 20 new items, I would guess, if not more, if you add in stickers. But it's all through the year. I don't really have a plan as far as that stuff goes. Um, I just make them and then release them when I want to.
Nice. And you sell direct to consumer, you sell through gift shops, events. What is like the breakdown of like a majority of sales come through which channels?
So the majority of our sales actually come through direct to customer sales, and I don't mean that by like online direct to customer. I mean go out into the real world and sell to customers. So we do markets. I have a couple kiosks at Denver International Airport. We do a lot of sales out there, and then after that is wholesale. And then after that is no, it's probably goes customer, retail, wholesale, and then just online sales. That's probably my smallest channel.
Nice. And you used to go, I was reading up about this. I mean, you used to go to tons of shows, events, and the booth, all that kind of stuff. Do you still do that? And if not, did it change when you had a daughter?
So yeah, I mean, before we had our daughter, I was doing those every weekend nonstop for 8 9 years. Um, Also, the economy has changed a lot the last few years, so they're not quite the same as they were. I have done way less since my daughter. Since we had our daughter. And I'm able to have a person that helps me do those, so I can spend more time at home with my family on the weekends. But yeah, I mean, I like telling everybody those are a great way to start and kind of figure out if you people want your product or not. Because this is gonna be a little bit of a tangent, but I always like to say this. I think a lot of people get stuck in the creative universe, and we all seek approval from creatives, and then we think that creatives are the whole universe when they're actually a very, very tiny part of our universe. And there's not enough of us to buy enough stuff, keep all of us alive and feed our families and all that. So I used to just play to this crowd. And then when I went and started doing those markets, I realized there was a whole other crowd there that are willing to purchase your products. And those are the people you need to play to, because those are the people that are going to support your life. So yeah, go do markets, test your stuff there. Um, and don't try to just sell to creatives and get approval from creatives, because while that is awesome, and I still do it, of course, uh, it's not your life. It's just not a big enough industry to support us all. So you have to go outside of that industry if you make products. I guess there's things you can do that are just for design, I suppose, but it's just a small world. You can't play to that small world.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And then recently I saw online you are building out a storefront. Tell us a little bit about one, where that's at, the decision to do that, and when folks can visit.
So yeah, well, incredibly enough, we will be it'll be fully open by in October. It's in Fort Collins, Colorado. If people don't know, downtown Fort Collins, part of it is the inspiration for Main Street USA. Pretty cool little tidbit. I don't know why Fort Collins doesn't tell people this. That's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, so hard open in October, grand opening, all that stuff, and we'll probably soft open it here in a week or two. But yeah, I just got lucky. This small little spot came open, super cheap rent, and I was like, well, I might as well try it. I mean, it's a perfect time in the world to do this right now. So now I'm super excited. I'm glad to have my own location. I have a couple kiosks at the airport, but those are basically under supervision from a different company you have to go through. So it's a little, there's a little bit of butting heads there, because while it's my business, I have to do it through another business. But I'm super excited to open my own retail location and kind of have my own vision and have it all just be my stuff. So super pumped on
Yeah.
that.
And where how does that like play into it? You got the kiosk, you got you still have products at events. Um Obviously you're going to have the storefront. How much of your time and physical presence is required in those places, and how do you spread out that responsibility?
Good question. I don't do it well, but so at the store, I mean, since I've been doing the airport, like it's a place where it's under such scrutiny and there's like a fine system and all this stuff. So like I feel like having the store, I'm gonna have such a weight lifted off my world. Um, but we'll have employees. My parents live here. My mom likes to come help, so she'll probably work a day or two there. I'll probably work a day or two. But we'll have employees to help us out there for sure. It's just at the even though we're nothing huge, but at the size we're at, it's not me, it's my wife, it's employees. It's pretty impossible to do just even at the scale we're at. I mean, it's impossible to be one person and do all this.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still feel like a designer? You have all these other plates to run this business. Um, like, what is that like?
You know, that word, I don't know what that word means
Mhm,
anymore. And I used to think it meant things. I don't know if I've ever been a designer. Um, I feel like maybe an illustrator. I always thought I was supposed to be a designer because I think that's the term that we latch onto, especially for me. Like I grew up on a farm and my only inspiration was cartoons and comic books. I'm older, so this is before the internet and all that fun stuff. Um, and then when I went to school, like they had a design program, and I was like, I don't want to push around letters, so I did like an illustration program. But yeah, I don't know. Like I say this all the time. Like I created a business based around my art to create art, and now I create the least amount. Well, not the least amount, but I create a lot less art now than I ever have before. Um, so your hobbies or passions can kind of take over your life if you let them. Um, yeah, it's kind of a difficult thing because I used to like I would say that creating an art were my escape when I had a regular job. Um, and I would say now I don't need to use it as that, which is nice. Um, so I just kind of do it when I need to now, and I don't feel like when I had my regular job, like I would spend 8 hours or whatever going to work, and all day I'd be thinking of ideas like I need to get this out. I don't have that anymore because I have so much to do. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but for me, it's kind of complicated. I feel like I'm this little island out here, you know, like I don't, I feel like I do have friends that are designers and I've been to conferences and stuff, but I also feel like I'm so far removed from that whole world because I do just do my own thing. So I don't know. Do
yeah.
you feel like a designer? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Depends on the day. Well, I mean, that's what like that's the kind of the heart of what I'm getting at, right? When your design is the business or when your art is the business, you end up doing so many business things that like the design thing, yes, it still generates the revenue because it's like the thing that people pay for, but at the same time, like there's all of the other pieces
Oh,
that
there's,
you have to
and
do.
especially when you have a business where you have inventory, it's just, I mean, there's so much time we spend just receiving, ordering, taking uh products to locations. I mean, it's a lot of manpower, just as far as like physical taking stuff everywhere. And like you would never think like, oh, I'm gonna spend a few days a week just moving stuff around, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that some of that is the size of the company now, and like if it were to be bigger or smaller, it would change, and you could like spend time on other things, or you're just kind of like, no, this is like what it takes, and it's really fun, and I'm enjoying doing
Another one.
it. Sorry, we went deep fast.
I think so I think if I was bigger, I would definitely have people to do that stuff. And I have been a little bigger than I am currently before. But like sometimes I feel like with everything, and this is probably a very American thing, but like I feel like we always are pushing to get bigger and do more. And we just feel like that's what we have to do. And at least the last couple years, like I've really been thinking like sometimes I'm like, well, what am I doing that for? So I am as far as like people, I'm smaller now. Yeah, I don't know. It's just sometimes you get caught up in this race, and especially with social media, and you see people doing things, and you're like, I should be doing that, and you kind of look past your own success, and you're like, wait a second, I have a good life. Like, what am I doing here? Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I was just saying it's such a mixed bag, but like at certain sizes, you kind of have to do everything yourself. But also, I always like to say this as well: is you decide what success is. Nobody else does. And while we all do it, and of course I do it still, we do compare because that's life. But ultimately, if you're making 2,000, 3,000, extra, 5,000 at your life, like, and you're happy with that, be happy with that. Don't let the people that are saying you need to make this amount ruin your life when you're having a perfectly good life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I and part of the reason I even ask is because like it's good to have the reminder for me that like sizes and everything. Like I didn't start doing my own thing so that I could make 3 times what I was making when I worked for someone else. I did it so that I could have the flexibility and freedom to spend more time with my kids. And so when I get stuck in this trap of like, oh, I need to make more money, it's like for what? Like we have a great life, and if I actually make a little bit less, that means I'm spending less time working or still being, you know, taken care of, and I get to spend more time with my kids, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 46. So I grew up in the 80s, 90s. Parents back then, they just worked and they
Yeah,
didn't hang out with us. Like, we didn't do anything. Like, they worked. Well, yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is that, like, whether it's the weekends or during the week, like, I just feel very lucky because my daughter's 4, and maybe besides, like, trade shows that I have to go to, I probably, in those 4 years, haven't seen her, like, maybe 3 weeks total, like, like, if you smashed all the time together that I've been gone. So for me, that's super important. Like, I love my parents, of course, but like they were just doing what people did in the 80s, and they worked, and we stayed at home, like, and just kind of did our own thing. Like, we grew up on a farm. They weren't worried about us vanishing or anything. So they worked, and they didn't do like activities with us or anything. Like, it's just, I don't know, it was a different world back then. Parents were way different then. But yeah, I'm doing that same thing. Like, I just feel so fortunate to have seen my daughter every day of her life, get to take her to preschool, get to pick her up when I need to. I don't know. I just feel like that stuff's now way more important than to me than whether I draw another drawing or something.
yeah, for sure. What is your current favorite product you have available? Or maybe it's
Okay.
a recent drawing that you are just super proud of.
I like to answer the product thing, and I kind of like to say this too, is because I'm the worst person to have started a brand selling things because I'm not a good shopper. I'm not a good commerce person. I don't like to buy things. Food, hook me up. I'm down, right? But like, as far as like buying, like, I mean, I've been wearing Carhartts for like 6 years now, and I just have like 10 of these, and I just wear that every day. Like, I don't even wear graphics anymore. Yeah, I'm the worst shopper, but I think the things that I'm liking the most right now are our bags. Our bags have been doing really well. We're working on a backpack, full custom. That's going to be really cool. As far as art that I've been doing, man, that's another hard one because it's like I don't know. Do you still get like I don't know if I get amped as much. Do you still get like when I was young and like I'd get jobs, like you get so like because it's just like you think it's never gonna happen. And then like when you do it, it happens all the time. Um Hopefully it continues to happen all the time. Knock on wood. Um so then it's like it does lose a little bit of that. And I don't know if that's a bad thing because then it's not so precious. Whereas I feel like when I started, like everything was so precious and I was like, I felt so much pressure for every product project. Um, but now I've been doing it so long and it keeps happening and I really get to do my own stuff. So it's a whole different, I have this whole different relationship with creating now, um, than when I started. I don't know if that
Mhm.
answers that or not.
Yeah, it does. For sure. I There's definitely things where when I was just out of college, designing early on, I was like, this is the best thing ever. And now if I have to do another, flyer, I'm just kind of like, all right, just knock it out. It's done. It's good. Accomplishes the thing. It's good design. But I'm not putting it in my portfolio. Whereas when I was like 24, it's like, look at this
Yeah.
thing I did with these cool brand names on
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
no one
Well, I
cares.
think that's like another thing you learn as you start doing this. Like, there's things that grease the wheel, and then there's like big projects that turn the wheel a little bit, and then sometimes there's a big project that turns that wheel all the way around. But also, like, the biggest thing I learned was no matter who you work for, no matter how big it is, it literally, like, once you're done and paid, like, it just goes, and then nobody cares, and then you got to do it again and do more. I think that's the craziest thing. And I don't mean to like sound pessimistic, it's just kind of the reality of it. Like, I think before I got a big project, I was like, oh, you do this big project, people are gonna know who you are, you're gonna get more work, which does happen a little bit, but you really just got to do more. And I think as creatives, unless you hit some kind of lucky lottery thing, which I don't know what that is in our field, um, you kind of just got to keep working and keep creating and get to the next job.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it that would unlock your ability to get into REI?
So that was really kind of like I did markets, and I would just go to markets and obviously make friends. And I met this couple, and one day the guy was like, well, would you ever want to be an REI? And I was like, yeah, sure. Saying it like, well, that's never gonna happen. And he was a guy who just worked the counter, so he was the manager or anything. So I wasn't like, oh, he's the manager, that'll go somewhere. But it did. So he told his manager. His manager told his boss, and on. Went up the chain. And I don't know if they do it this way now, but they used to have this program basically you could enter into. So they just said, hey, your stuff looks cool. You have to enter into this program and go through the whole process. So that's kind of how I got into that. Um, I mean, that was like, I would say if I've had any life changing job, it was that. And the reason it was a life changing job was because it's wholesale account, and I'm getting orders every other week since 2019. Selling products can be cool when you get a big account like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is cool. And do you feel like I saw that you had posted somewhere that you had learned that markets weren't just about that 2, 3, 4 hours that you're there. There was all this other networking that happened, or that was like the key thing to it. Do you think this connection happened through that realization? Or like what does that networking
Oh,
look like?
that happened before I thought about this stuff, but yes, it did happen because of that. No, I just think like even now, like in 2025, networking in person is it's probably even more valuable now than it's ever been before, because online is pretty much just, unless you're one of the people that kind of break through, it's so hard if you're just posting your art these days, I feel like, to break through, just because how the algorithms and everything are. But yeah, I mean, networking in person, I think, is so important. Finding your group of people, meeting other people. Like, I've gone to conferences and didn't even know people were art directors for these other corporate or larger companies. And then they'll reach out to me like a year later, like, hey, we did this. We went to the conference, and like, now let's do it. Like, just putting yourself out there and doing markets and like finding people that are in a little bit of a different world, because while I am a creator or a designer, I'm really a person selling products. And like, to go do those markets, I found a bunch of those people that are doing those same type of jobs for a living. So it's nice to talk to those people because they have a whole different perspective on life. They don't give two craps about the creative world. Um, so it's good to like find those different universes and meet new people. I mean, I think now it's probably more valuable now to network than it's ever been before.
Yeah. I said I wasn't going to get us into any hot take deep water here, but since stickers are a massive part of your product line, and there have been some sticker companies in the last bit that have stepped in hot water, who's your go-to?
So I'll be completely honest. I mean, before that, I definitely used that company a ton because, besides their politics, what they created is amazing. Like, you just plug something in, boom, you get it in like less than 7 days. There's not many companies that do that. But I have left them a while ago, um, and this was before any of that. I guess I got lucky, because I only use them in emergencies at this point. But before that, I had done, a million plus stickers and reached out to said company, and nobody ever got back to me. So I was like, well, I feel like I've ordered a ton of stickers from you, so you feel like I should be able to. But anyways, so who I use is die cut stickers out of Washington. They are awesome. Um, they, you know, I do a ton of stickers to them. I'm ordering stickers pretty much every other day, if not a couple times a week. But that's my go-to company is die cut stickers in
Nice.
Washington.
Has has your daughter been inspired by your sticker making and made any of her own?
She loves stickers. She doesn't love my stickers, but she loves stickers. Um, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see like uh, growing up with it because for me,
Yeah.
like while my mom was a creative person, she didn't do that for a job at all, and so I kind of had these ideas of art and creating and all this stuff. But it'll be interesting to see like what a person who like, well, luckily, let's hope everything continues as it does, that she's able to grow up around it and have a family that is completely funded by that, and that's our whole life. So I don't know what perspective that brings, or like if that'll push somebody away from it, because I feel like you always kind of want to rebel a little against what your parents do.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm interested to see how that is because art was so abstract for me growing up, and it'll be just part of everyday life for her. So, it's weird to say this, but it won't be special, I guess.
Mm.
Maybe when she gets older and realize that's not a normal thing. Um, if AI doesn't take all of our jobs, but um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just be interesting. She's creative. She likes to paint and draw and do all that, but all kids do. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, I was lucky enough to have parents that never were like, stop doing that. I think everybody draws, paints, and at some point somebody tells you to stop, and then a lot of people just get lucky enough to where nobody says that, and you just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. I have 2 more questions before we go, and those are, what has been in your greatest joy as a dad, and what has been your biggest learning?
Joy. I mean, that is. I like to tell everybody like having a little kid is like this. Like 1 second they tell you they love you, and then like the next second they kick you in the face. But as far as like joys, I mean, there's so many. It's just like obviously that day there, the first time I only have one kid, but that first time you hold your child, like that's just like it's you've done it, so but like it's just this impossible connection, like life changing, just like we all have these relationships, and we all like we hear what love is, and we kind of see what love is, and like you love your partner, you love your parents. But that connection you have with your child is just it's undescribable, and I kind of like I think that's what actual love is in the world, without making it the movie type. So that's definitely one of the joys. But I think like beyond that, obviously life changing event of having a child born, it's just like there's so many fun, small, little like joyful moments that I would never have in my life if I didn't have a child. And I think those are like some of those are the best things. Like you can't I'll forget them, she'll forget them, but like on a day to day basis, there's just like these tiny little things that would never happen if I didn't have her. And that's definitely like those are cool. What was the other one?
And your biggest learning as a dad?
I think for me, really, um, is being way more empathetic. Kind of all get stuck in our own world, and I think before you kind of have a kid, you're even though obviously you like love your partner and you guys are doing this all together, you're all just you kind of like you're like connected, but there's not like this like I don't know. For me at least, I just feel like I gained so much uh empathy from that, and then just like patience. You have to learn a lot of patience. It's still hard, and the older she gets, the more she learns how to push those certain buttons, which is kind of crazy when they're 4. You're just like, okay, all right, you're 4, so I'm just gonna have to live with this. But yeah, I mean, I would say that's how I answer that question.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. If folks wanted to find you, buy your work, um, follow you online, where can they go to do that?
The first thing is my store is atomicchild.com. Everything is there, all the products. Probably the thing I still use the most is Instagram, Atomic Child Design. I kind of feel like Instagram has become like the how Facebook, like it's the old person's thing now or something. But I use Instagram because everything else is just annoying at this point. So there, Atomic Child Design on Instagram, atomicchild.com for all the products.
Awesome. Well, it was great to meet you, and thanks for sharing.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.